Hello, Steve Mills here, and it's great to be back sharing with you some more tried, tested and proven ways that you could grow your business, as my good friend Peter Thompson would say. And today I'm looking at what's wrong with your marketing. I don't know whether you had a chance to watch or listen, should I say, to my last podcast, but in it I spoke about exactly that. I gave you 5 reasons why your marketing is probably not working. I also said it's probably not that you're doing the wrong marketing. It's far more likely that you're doing the right marketing in the wrong way. So here is number 6, the 6th reason that I think that marketing doesn't work. And I'm going to bring these, I've decided, in groups of 5. So each podcast is going to have 5 reasons why I think marketing doesn't work. So it's really important to catch all of them if you can. I think at the moment I'm up to 23 reasons. I've been doing a bit of work on this and come up with 20, probably the most common 23 reasons why marketing doesn't work. And I want you to appreciate where these have come from. You know, I've spent over 25 years now working with thousands of businesses in hundreds of industries and helping them to achieve fantastic results in terms of improved marketing performance. I can give you many examples of why and how I've helped businesses turning over 200,000-300,000, and they've been doing so for the last 5 or 10 years. And all of a sudden I take them to, $500,000 or $1 million in turnover. Or I can also give you examples of people who started off in business and never really got over that first hurdle. You know, they've been turning over 25,000-30,000 a year for several years, sometimes over 10 years. They really want to get it to the 100K, the 6-figure mark as quickly as possible, and I've helped them to do that in 6 months. Whilst other businesses, have been turning over 10 million, and I've helped them get to the 20 million mark. And so I've got a lot of experience in doing this, and off we go really with my next 5 ways I think that businesses basically don't get their marketing right, the mistakes that they make. So the reasons why they've got their marketing wrong, in other words. So the next one is pricing. Not getting their pricing correct. Now, by that I mean the perception of what they do. So if I said to you, I'm one of the leading experts in marketing in the UK, how do you like to come along to my workshop? And you said, yeah, sounds great, Steve. How much is it? And I said, it's £49. Then for me, anyway, the perception of price wouldn't fit with the product that I'm offering. So if I said, we are the South's leading provider of top quality, sports cars, and you came along and you saw my cheap, discount, 20% off this model and that model, it just sort of wouldn't fit. So I'm not saying that you have to put your prices up, although that can be a really good idea. But what I am saying is that your brand and your image and where you're trying to position yourself should be consistent with your pricing. So if you're at the boot fair, then you don't want to be charging the same price as Harrods. If you're at Harrods, you certainly don't want to be charging boot fair price. If you're, a Marks and Spencer's or a Debenhams, that sort of level, middle of the market, maybe slightly above that, then, you need to price accordingly. The perception of price is really key. So make sure that you're pricing at the right level. Which sort of, in a way, links into the next one. This is number 7, and that is your brand doesn't link to your product or your service offering. So again, if I've got a really nice brand, a great a product that I offer, is not in sync with the brand that I provide, then, there's a little bit of a mismatch with it. It doesn't quite look the part, and so I really do believe that whilst brands are not quite exclusively for the big companies, certainly in larger companies, brand is far more important. But in smaller businesses, it's the real key is, for me, is brand, not so much brand awareness, but brand what's the word I'm looking for? Brand consistency. So that, your website looks like your brand. Your logo is in sync with that. Your business card, your flyers, even the way you look, how your office looks. If you come to my office and meet me, you'll probably find me dressed in black trousers and a black shirt, or sometimes a black t-shirt. Occasionally white, and just occasionally orange. Now, they're the only colours that pretty much I wear in the office. Why is that? Because they're our brand colours. So I try to make sure that everything, even the walls on our office wall, they're white. Our carpet is grey. We've got little spots of orange in what we do, but primarily our main colours are black, grey and white. They're the three corporate colours of us, with a little tinge sometimes of orange. And we try and do everything within that. We don't have anything blue or green or anything like that. It's all built around that particular brand. So again, something for you to think about. Number 8 is you're trying to sell to people before you've built a relationship with them. And boy, do you know what? This is such a big one. I get emails from people who I've never even heard of trying to sell me all manner of things. I even get people on LinkedIn saying to me, do you want to buy? I had an email the other day from Volkswagen on LinkedIn, and this is through the email advertising on LinkedIn, and they're talking to me about leasing a car, even though they have no clue who I am, no clue what sort of car I drive, no clue whether I'm interested in it or not, and yet they're spending time, money and effort on marketing to people who have no desire whatsoever in their product. And so we need to, I believe, spend some time building a relationship before we start to try to sell. So what do I mean? Well, essentially what I mean is I believe in marketing and in business. I'm recording this in 2019, and going forward from that date, it's going to become more and more important to make sure that in business we are what I call the KPI, not key performance indicator, but rather key person of influence and or key business of influence. So a KBI, if you will. And what I mean by that is that we need to, I believe, position ourselves before we try to sell ourselves. We need to create brand awareness, certainly, and we need to position ourselves and our brand and our company and our products as the go-to person or product or business before we ever try to sell to them. There are many people in the world now, the top people that I listen to and spend time learning from. When I say the top people, I'm talking about the top marketing people in the world. Talk a lot about getting people to know, like, and trust you. Now, would you buy from somebody that you knew, liked, and trusted, or would you just buy from any old person who tried to sell you something? I think you know the answer. And so this step is all about making sure you're not just, pumping stuff out. If you receive my emails and indeed my podcasts, I'm not going on here saying, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? Do you want to buy the other? I might do a little bit of that towards the end. But what I'm really about is trying to help people. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm helping you to not make the mistakes that you could be making in marketing, whilst at the same time positioning myself in your eyes, or certainly this is what I'm hoping to do anyway, as a key person of influence, a person who clearly knows what they're talking about, is an expert in their field, and when it comes the time when you're ready to buy, instead of me going, do you want to buy this, do you want to buy that, do you want to buy the other, I will become the natural choice for you, because I've demonstrated my expertise many, many, many times to you, be it through podcasts, through emails, through posts, through my website, perhaps through seeing me at an event or attending a webinar. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, if you want to come to my next webinar, if you go to my website, which is stevemills.co, click on the training page. There'll be dates of the next webinar. Be free to attend, and it'd be great to see you there. So, right, where was I? So, your product or service, this is number 9, by the way, your product or service is not wanted, understood to be wanted, or needed by your target market. So it's not wanted by them, it's not needed by them, and it's not really understood. So let me give you an example. If you're selling, time management training, and you're trying to sell that into, let's say, self-employed builders. Now, we all know one of the biggest problems with builders is they don't turn up when they say they will. They have time management issues. Things take longer. They don't get round to it. They're potentially very unorganized anyway. And they certainly, if you ask me, what is the biggest complaint that you see with self-employed builders over the years when I've hired them, it's always been the reliability. They don't do what they say when they'll say they do it. So they really need time management training. The product they need, the problem is they don't want it. They need it, but they don't want it. I think it'd be very, very tough to try and market a time management training program into builders. They desperately need it, but they don't want it. Does that make sense? I really hope it does. Or at least they don't understand they want it. Yeah, they think they don't need it. What do I want to go on a time management course? I've not got time to do that, I'm sure many builders say. So, if it's not wanted, not understood, or perhaps it's not even needed, perhaps there isn't a problem with that, and perhaps they don't actually need one. So number 9 is that. Number 10, and this is the last one for this particular podcast, is something called split testing. Split testing is not being carried out on your advertising and marketing. What do I mean by that? I mean that with technology, in this day and age, you can often do what's known as a split test. A split test would be, let me give you an example of one. You send out an email. So you write an email campaign, you're marketing a new product, you've got a database of 10,000 names, and you send that email out. And a result is produced. X amount of people open it up, X amount of people click a link perhaps in the email and go to your website. And from there, X amount of people make an inquiry, X amount of people have a meeting, and X amount of people buy your product and service. Now, whatever those several X's were, they're creating a result for you. You clearly know your marketing numbers based on that criteria. Now, my question for you, is it as good as it could possibly be? And the answer is right now, you don't know. So what you do is you do a split test. Instead of sending one email out to 10,000, you perhaps send out 3 different emails to, let's say, 3,333 people. Yeah. So in other words, you divide that database into 3 and send out 3 different automated emails. You then notice how many people open email A and B and C, how many people click through on A, B and C, how many meetings do you get from A, B and C, how many sales do you get from A, B and C. And you notice that advert A outpulls advert B and C by 3 to 1. In other words, you get 3 times as many click-throughs, 3 times as many opens, 3 times as many meetings, and 3 times as many sales. Question: which advert or which email are you going to use in the future? The answer is advert A or email A. Yeah, so you know because you've split tested the database which one works the best. Now, what other split tests could you do? Well, is it better to advertise to accountants, solicitors or architects, or builders, plumbers or carpenters? Yeah, you could split test your target market. What about the headline on your email? You could split test and have a different email to see which headline outpulls the other. If you were advertising using Google AdWords or Facebook advertising or LinkedIn or any of the other pay-per-click advertising, they all give you the capacity to do a split test, to try different headlines, different adverts, different targets, and so on and so forth. But what about the landing page? When people go to Google, type in something, click on your advert, and go to your website. Well, you can split test the landing page. So in other words, instead of having one page, you have 3 different pages, and you notice which one over time gets the most inquiries, because Google will send the first person to landing page A, the second page to landing page B, the third one to landing page C, and so on and so forth. And Google's actually that clever that it starts to learn which landing page creates the most inquiries, and so automatically, without you doing anything, it starts sending more of the traffic to the page that's working best. So we don't even have to do this, guys. This is very, very easy to do. It just takes a little bit more time, but the results I've known, increase, occasionally get a 20% increase and improvement. Sometimes I've known that be a 500% increase in inquiries. Sometimes I've known it go from like no inquiries to 20 inquiries. And so we get, massive potential increase. And wouldn't it be terrible if you only got a 10% increase? At least that's better than nothing. How much does split testing cost? Well, it costs you nothing other than the time and effort to do it. So split testing is a great way of improving your marketing, and not split testing is a great way of getting your marketing wrong. So, you should do it. Why wouldn't you? So that's it for today. Next 4 ways of getting your marketing wrong will be coming up on my next podcast. If you've not yet listened to my last podcast, I strongly recommend that you go back and listen to that, because that provided you with my first 5 ways of first 5 reasons why marketing doesn't work and what could be wrong with your marketing. I've just gone through another 5, so that's 10 altogether, and so far I'm up to 23, although by the time I get into my 20s there might be another couple added on there. I'll try and get to 25 ways. How about that? So anyway, last thing before I go is, do you want to know more from me? I'd love to be able to help you and help you to grow your business. I spent many, many years doing that. I get results. The one thing, this is called the results podcast. You know, my program is called the Results Accelerator Program. I spend time learning and understanding from the best marketing experts in the world, and I pass it on to small business owners. That's what I do. That's what I've done for 25 years. That's what I've done to help my clients make millions and millions of pounds of extra unforeseen income into their business. Not all of them. Some of them listen to what I say, don't do anything, and don't get any results. But if you're willing and able to take action based on the advice that I give you, it will have a massive impact in your business. If you want to get started with me in a no cost, no obligation, simple first step process, then what I'd like you to do is just to book a free, no obligation meeting with me. That could be held either in my office in Portsmouth, or it could be held over the phone, or probably most of my meetings these days are via Zoom.com, which is an online meeting platform. So we can see each other, we can look each other in the eyes, start the process of getting to know each other, and we can do a meeting in that way. So if you want to do that, go to my website, which is www.stevemills, that's MILLS.co. That's CO, stevemills.co. What you need to do then is click on the page that says results meeting. If you go to that, you can use my online diary to find a time that's convenient for you. Just book yourself a meeting, and there's 4 different types of meeting. There's a client meeting, there's a telephone meeting, there's an online meeting on Zoom, and there's a meeting in our office. So it just really couldn't be simpler. Thanks ever so much for listening, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Thank you.